How's it going, you guys? It's Scott with Everyday Home Repairs, and today I want to show you how to quickly correct an issue that is extremely common in most homes. Now, if you have a central air system or just even a furnace where you have a return duct that goes through a filter prior to going through your system where the air gets conditioned, whether it's getting heated or cooled, the problem really is right here at the furnace filter slot. Now I'm going to actually demonstrate this to you, believe it or not, with some incense, with some smoke that will help us show the path of airflow and how to correct that. But first, let's just go through a few furnace filter basics to make sure we're all on the same page. So first up, how often should you be changing your filter? Now most filters will say 3 months is the frequency for which you should be changing out your furnace filter. And I actually did a poll on the channel where we had the viewers vote to how often they were changing the furnace filter. And I was a little surprised that 48%, or almost about half of the viewers, said that they changed it at least as frequently every 3 months, which is the recommendation from most manufacturers. If you're actually doing that, that's awesome. Now a little pro tip, many different HVAC companies, big box home improvement stores, or even Amazon will allow you to kind of set up on a schedule where you get air filters delivered to you. Usually there's no additional cost to that, and it just helps you and reminds you to change out those furnace filters because they're actually arriving in the mail. I actually just recently set this up through Amazon, and it's one of those things that I'm happy to set and forget. So the next thing is, don't forget, when you're installing your furnace filter on the housing itself, there will be an arrow showing you the direction of airflow. Your return air duct is just that. It's air returning to your system to be conditioned again and then go out through your vents. So the arrow should always be facing your units, facing your central air or your furnace itself. That is the correct orientation that you want. And then lastly, before we dive into this actual issue, is what type of furnace filter should you get? Because there are a ton of different ones on the market. So I got a couple furnace filters here that kind of demonstrate the options that you have. First up is the extreme low end. It's about $2 per furnace filter, and you can actually see through the filter. So if you can see through the filter, you can guess how much it's actually removing from the air, which is very, very little. The only advantages of this type of filter, I'd say, one, obviously, is cost, and two, it has very little restriction. It doesn't restrict the air going through your unit, so it would be easier for your unit to properly heat, cool, and maintain humidity in your home. So there is a little bit of a balance that you want to maintain between removing particles from the air, especially if you have allergies, and that's something that can affect you, and not putting too much restriction on your unit. So the next one is kind of a classic 3M 1085. It's right in the middle there. It's called a MERV 8. So it's going to reduce most things out of your air. If you don't have a lot of allergies, this is probably going to be more than enough for you, especially if you're changing every 3 months. And you could expect to pay about $10 per filter. And then the last one is the one that I'm actually stepping up to in my own home, and that's a 3M 1900, and it's a MERV 13. So it's going to increase in the amount of particles and the size of particles, even the smaller particles, that it will reduce from the air. In addition, it's a much higher concentration of pleats. So what that means is this filter, even though the outside is a 20 by 25, just like all the other ones I showed, because of these folds or pleats, the surface area is actually 2 times or more than the previous 3M 1085 that I showed you. So it has much more surface area. Thus, it can remove quite a bit from the air and also not put much restriction on your system. So it's going to help your system maintain the heating or cooling and humidity in your home and last longer. And I just think it's a great filter. Now, with that said, you could expect to pay about $20 with this filter. But if you're changing it every 3 months, just think about it. That's $80 for the overall air quality in your home. And in my book, it is worth it and something that I'm stepping up to. All right, so now we have a baseline on some of the basics and the type of filters you can get. I'm going with the higher end MERV 13. You can look down in the description, you'll see links to all these different filters and products we talk about. So now let's jump into that issue, and that is having an open slot. If you can see your furnace filter, you have this issue and you need to fix it. Let me show you why. And that is because you want the air to return from the different return ducts in your home and go through the filter. But if you have an opening here, you are going to have an issue where air is going to come from other places than where you want it to. And let me demonstrate that with that incense. So we'll put some smoke right here and see where that smoke travels. So I just turned my furnace on. The first fan you hear is actually the inducer motor, and this is the standard cycle that you're going to go through. So we got the smoke, which represents the airflow outside of the actual ductwork. And if you can see the actual gaps here, that's going to be the source of our issue. You do not want to have gaps pre or post that filter. And then that next cycle you just heard, that is actually the burner. So that's the furnace injecting gas and then the burners themselves starting up. And the next will be the blower motor actually pulling air through the duct. So you saw that the blower motor turned on and then all of a sudden the smoke got pulled into the ductwork. So what's the big deal, right? Well, it's a couple different things. If you have a gap that is away from the furnace, the air is still going to go through the filter, so that is a good thing, but the air is going to come from the environment where your furnace or central air is located. For me, that's in a basement. It's not going to flow through your return air ducts and all your returns in your home, and then that is going to equal different areas of your home being different temperature and just the overall system not working to what it was designed to do. And then if your gap is actually on the furnace side, that's kind of a double whammy. One, you're going to be getting air from the environment where it's located, where your system's located, opposed to through your ductwork, but you're also going to be bypassing the filter. And the funny thing is, as your filter gets clogged up, it's going to be more likely that the air is going to be pulled from your basement or your utility closet. And these are not the cleanest areas of our home. And if you're bypassing the furnace filter, you can see how that's going to be an issue on your system's health and also your health and your family's health. So the nice thing is this is easy to fix. If you have an HVAC professional maintaining your unit or installing a unit, just request that you have a cover made for the furnace filter slot, and they'll be able to easily make up that cover while they're doing your ductwork. Alternatively, if you're like me, everything's in place, you just want an easy solution, there is actually a product made by Filter Lock, which is a magnetic filter seal, and it's flexible for many different scenarios. Let me show you how to install that. I'll install it right here, and then we'll do that same test again to see if that smoke gets pulled into the ductwork. So the filter seal will come with two different halves, and that's actually what makes it so flexible. And then you'll have magnetic strips on the side and each of the tops and bottoms. So first up, we'll put the bottom on. So I'll put the magnet strip on the bottom of the ductwork, and then attach the side strips, adjusting slightly so they fit the overall installation that I'm dealing with. And then we'll go ahead and do that same thing for the top one. And now here, I'm gonna try to fold over that magnet, but because of my clearance here, it doesn't wanna give a great fit. So what I'm gonna do is just do small adjustments, and I'm actually gonna cut the magnet at the top here. Just making a small cut, and then I'm going to pull this down so it fits my overall ductwork. And really, that is all there is to it. Let's see if it actually works. It is nice every once in a while when you find a product such as Filter Lock that is inexpensive and extremely effective at solving your problem. I highly recommend the filter lock. It's very flexible for the different configurations of your ductwork, but I wasn't able to find it at Home Depot or Lowe's, so I just got mine off of Amazon, and you'll see that link down in the description. Now, while you're on a roll fixing things around the house, why not check out this video, because I'm sure you might have a door or two that isn't latching around the house, and this will show you the 3 easy fixes for that issue. So thanks for stopping by on this video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.